Hello, how are you? I am so glad you're here. So today I thought we'd have a wee talk about one of the three dimensions that I always look at with people when working with them to overcome their pain or anxiety. So I consider there to be three dimensions to pain. Pain is never just a physical thing. It always involves the background to the situation, the background to our beliefs. It involves the brain very much, and it also involves the body. So today, why don't we have a look at the first of these, which is the background. And often this is quite a big topic to go into because the background to the pain has a huge influence on how we experience anything really, but if we're thinking at the moment in terms of pain. So what do I mean by background? Well, it can cover a lot of things. It can cover back to the beliefs and ideas we have about pain as we grow up. And actually this is really quite an important thing because from a very early age we learn how to respond to pain or to stressful situations. So a good example that I often use with people that we can all relate to is if you think of a small child, a sort of toddler or even a wee bit older, and they're running about in the park or the playground or in the house or wherever, and they fall over. And more often than not, they won't immediately start crying. More often than not, they'll turn and they'll look to their parent, their grandparent, childminder, whoever it is that's there looking after them at that time. And they'll look to them to see how they're responding. Now, if the child has just fallen over, had a bit of a bump, and they look up at the parent, and the parent goes, "Oh, oopsie, never mind, here we go, up you get. Then we'll give your knee a wee rub and off we go." That's how the child perceives the situation to be. That's the feedback they're getting from the carer who they look to. So their brain's then interpreting that as not a dangerous or stressful situation because mum or dad or granny, whoever, isn't overly concerned. It must be okay because they know how to keep you safe. I'm safe and I can carry on. In contrast to that, if the same child falls over, hurts the same bit, but the mum, dad, granny, childminder, whoever it is, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? Oh, quick, come here. Happy, oh goodness. Oh, let's get the first aid kit," and has a big panic, then the child is immediately going to perceive that as being a dangerous situation. So the child's brain goes, "Whoa, this isn't good. Danger, danger, danger. I better start alerting everyone that there's danger here. We have to keep you safe, keep you safe." So the child will start crying, becoming really distressed. But that could be exactly the same situation, exactly the same injury in terms of the wee scrape on the knee. But the way the child responds will be very different. And that's kind of a good starting point if you think of the backstory. So that's a situation we probably all can relate to, either from ourselves directly or we've witnessed that when we're out and about. And you can see the difference it makes as to how we respond to things, as to what the situation round about is. So obviously at a child level, we're looking there, what is the parent or the caregiver going to respond? But if that carries on, how the child's pain is perceived by everybody else, as they grow up, then they'll learn how to develop and their brain will learn the different pathways from there as well. So if you think every time the child has a slight discomfort, if every time they fall over, every time you can't get anything right, every time something goes wrong, every time things aren't exactly as they want, if the response from those around them is, "Oh my goodness, oh, panic, oh, big event," then the brain is perceiving this as being dangerous situations. And if it perceives it's a dangerous situation, then the brain's job is to keep you safe, and it will do what it has to do. And if that means produce more pain, so be it. If it will make the child cry, all these kind of things are based on what's going on round about. So the same thing applies as we get older. We learn different ideas about what pain means. So for example, if every time you have a little pain, you are taken to the doctor and given a pill, then that's what you learn is the way to manage pain. If you maybe grow up hearing, "Oh, my granny had a bad back and I'll have a bad back, and you'll end up with a bad back too," then that seed's being planted there and your brain's starting to anticipate that you're going to have back pain there, so there's an expectation there. If things like you have had some sort of medical intervention or investigations and you've been to see a doctor or a consultant or physiotherapist, chiropractor, whoever, and they've told you, oh, the famous one is always your spine's crumbling. So think the connotations that brings in your brain in terms of how safe you're going to feel if you've been told your spine's crumbling. Or another one is, oh, there's nothing we can do, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. That's another classic one that we hear quite a lot of. People that I see have been told such positive things like that. You're not in a wheelchair, there's nothing more we can do. You'll just have to learn to live with it, take some more pills. So that's the kind of very broad range of the backstory that sometimes we will, or not sometimes, we'll always have a backstory to the pain. And from an early age, we'll learn how we should deal with pain and what we should do about pain. And that determines how much danger or otherwise that our brain perceives there to be. So if that young child, when they've fallen over in the park and the parent who's made sure they're safe, obviously I'm not talking about a serious injury here, we're talking about a wee scrape in their knee. Oh, never mind, oopsies, here we go, we rub, off we go, let's go and play on this new climbing frame over here or whatever it is. Then that child's brain is learning that situation is not dangerous. And if that's continued in different environments, oh, I can't do this building thing. Oh, well, let's see what we can do to help you and how can we manage this. And they've got a tummy upset. Oh, well, let's see how we go. Let's take a wee, have something nice and soothing for your tummy. They're learning that these situations are not dangerous. So their nervous system is staying at a lower level of arousal. And if we contrast that with situations where the response is different and the response is more of panic and, oh my goodness, what we're going to do, and oh, we need to get help, and oh, then the nervous system is sitting in this higher state of alert. So that's the kind of very general sort of backstory that we all have, and we all come with a backstory for everything because we are human and we interact with other people, and we all have a backstory. But in terms of pain, that's a kind of wee sort of background there. And that's, if we take it, that's nothing out with the kind of realms of this middle of the road, normal variations that we would expect. The other big factor in backstory is things like if there has been more traumatic events, so either abuse type situations or neglectful situations or traumatic events, be it either physically traumatic, so injuries, illnesses, operations, or emotionally traumatic events, loss of somebody close to you, lots of changes in situations, moving house a lot, changing schools, all these kind of things. So all these different things are part of our backstory and part of what contributes to where we are today. And they all have a role to play in how our brains then deal with the situations and how we then go on either to develop pain or to cope with and deal with and move on from pain that exists. So again, you might look at that and think, well, what's that really not got much to do with pain? But it really has, and it's the sort of key thing is that the backstory is really a massive factor in persistent pain. Even in chronic, even in more acute pain, where you injure yourself, how the brain responds to that. But if we're thinking here predominantly about persistent pain, the backstory is really massive. Now, we've not even scratched the surface there. That's just to give you a very general introduction to things. So have a wee think about how you respond either now to pain or other stressful situations. Or have a think back to different times in the past when you've maybe experienced pain, or you've noticed other people experiencing pain and noticed their response. Is it different to how you think you would respond? What did you think about what they did? Or for yourself, looking back at something, how do you feel you responded there? What do you think influenced that? And can you see any sort of patterns across the board, either in yourself or in other people? And it's just something quite interesting to notice how these different things influence our response to pain. Okay, so we'll leave you at that for today. I hope that gives you a wee bit of an insight. And next day we'll have a look at one of the other dimensions of pain as well when we explore that. Okay, I hope you have a good week and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.